So I'm continuing a series of videos I started building a minimal SherlockBench client in Clojure. So I don't remember exactly where I got to in the previous video, but I've done a bit of extra work since. So we're now at a point where we've got a working investigation loop, which means the large language model is able to call its tool, see the result, and iterate. At the moment, we've still got this hard-coded to 2 for testing, so it will only call its tool twice. So I guess we'll just run that and see the result. Java connection exception. What is it that's not running? So we've got this running. So I think I set it up to connect to Elite LLM. Okay, so can it not connect to the... Oh, it'll be the server. Yeah, I haven't started the server. Connection refused. Okay, connection to watch. So if we just do start run, does that work? Right, so I can't connect to the server. So what's happening there? Oh yeah, it's just the wrong command. Go. Right. Cool, so that should be running. So yeah, so this is just printing the state of the messages, the messages that we build up as we go. So the LLM has called its tool thusly. So yeah, this is formatted in a way that's very difficult to read, but so we can see that it's called its tool again. Somewhere in all this noise, yeah, we can see a record of the previous call tool. Yeah. So I think what we can do is just set this to test limit now. So to run through the full loop. And we can implement the verification. Right, so what does the verification do? So we need prompts for these things, right? So what prompts did we make before? Oh, so we already made a function for a verification message. So this should be pretty simple, right? We're just calling the function. We're calling our post function again without adding the tools in. So how are the tool definitions added? So because it doesn't have access to the tools during the verification stage. Oh, here it is, LLM FN. So LLM FN comes from here, does it? Partial cool-quen config. So right, so tools is optional, right? So yeah, so tools will either be nil. Yeah, that's fine. So this already supports calling it without tools, so that's perfect. So this should be pretty straightforward. So our main loop down here. So at the end of our investigation, we've got messages. We call verification, passing those messages in. And we've called it in for some reason. Probably better to call it that. Right, so there are multiple verifications and we need to loop through them, right? So attempt will contain verifications, I'm guessing. Let's put this back to 2. We're just waiting for ages for that. Alright, so attempt ID argspec. Oh no, that's not how the verifications work, is it? How do the verifications... Okay. So let's look at the old code base. I think it might be that that we have to go back to the server repeatedly to get each verification. So where's the equivalent of the main loop? So if we go to right, so we do our investigation, and then we just call the verify. And the verify simply calls the API repeatedly to get a verification. Okay, that makes sense. Can't remember what this Python syntax means. What's that? Anyway, so we call next verification and we pass in an attempt ID. Okay. And we do that while in a loop. So what causes this loop to fail? While v data, what is that? So we're checking if we're getting like a null or a or a falsy response, are we? Huh. Yeah, I don't know what response we'll get. Okay. Let's just make a function to. Let's just test. Probably easier to do it here, is it? Where do we have the problem is post fn is only available once we've created it. Because, sorry, we're preloading it with what? Server URL. And the config. Let's just copy some of that so we can test it. And we need to start a run, do we? Okay, cool. So inside here we can run commands to test. So if we do llm fn, what was it? Next verification or something? We need to provide the attempt ID as well. So hold on, let's check what this takes. Messages and tools. Oh no, this is completely the wrong function. Sorry, so what function do we use to contact the API? Right. So we need post fn, not llm fn. yeah, path and data. Okay, that makes more sense. Cool. So can we? So it's probably similar to that. Is that it? Run deets isn't just going to contain an attempt ID though, it's going to contain a whole data structure that I can't remember, but let's just see if this works. Okay. Unable to resolve symbol problem set. Unable to resolve attempts. Oh yeah, that doesn't matter. Okay. Wrong number of args passed to post-fn. So post-fn is already preloaded with the server URL, and it takes run ID. Oh, run ID. Is that what's missing? Yeah, why have we got let and then another let? Hold on. No. Yeah, run deets. Wrong number of args, 3. Yeah, oh, yeah, we're still not using it. Okay. This is the type of error message that's hard to debug because it doesn't tell you where the problem actually is. So string cannot be cast to IFN. String cannot be cast. Oh no, this is wrong. What have we done here? Right. Okay. Okay, so that works. So, why were we even testing this? Just to see what we get. So we do it in a loop, do we? So, oh yeah, while. Right. So if we just so when we call this repeatedly, what exactly happens? So do we call it again to where do we next run post fn? Right, so then we call attempt verification. So let's just write pseudocode for this. So we get the next verification. Ask the LLM to predict it. There's a lot of boilerplate here. Yeah, so I still don't know how this while ends because I don't know what happens when we get to the end. That's what I wanted to check, but I realize I can't immediately find that out. Right, so what type of loop are we going to use, right? So a loop that in Clojure, how do you do a loop that, yeah, I don't know, the problem is we still don't know what exactly our function is going to do. Is it that it doesn't give a 200 status? Is that how this is working? Well, okay, whatever. Let's try not to worry about that until we get to it. Right, so the binding of our loop. Does our loop even need any bindings? I think we're just looping until we get a failure, right? Yeah, this is unusual, right? So I don't normally implement this type of loop in Clojure. Normally you're looping over data, but here we're looping over a, external action. No, so yeah, what we do is, so firstly we get the first verification. So do we have, right, so we've got a post fn. So we've already got attempt, right? So what exactly is this attempt object? Yeah, that hasn't been destructured, so Okay. So that gives us a verification. And then there's lots of noise here, but I think all we're really doing is, yeah, verification and output time. So we can destructure that here. Verification formatted, right? So why are we formatting it? V formatter is being passed in. Hmm. V formatter is the second last argument. Value list to map, right? Value list value list from main value list to map, right? So take a vector and return a map with alphabetical keys. So I wrote this in Python, so what did I mean by map? Was I talking about a dict? And did I already write a function for converting between? So we've already got a list to map here. So can we just use that? I imagine I can just use that. Wait, what just happened? Did it? Investigate, verify, no, verify, right? Right, V formatter, right? So verification for, so we do that and then okay, so we make our verification message. Okay. So let's go to our prompts, make verification message. So yeah, it expects inputs to be a string, so I'm not sure this function is right actually. To test your theory, please tell me what's the expected. Well, we can try it and see, right? Our objective for right now can just be to see what our verification message looks like. Why would this be the only place we're using prompts? Wouldn't this be using it? Prompts. Oh, I see. Prompts. Yeah. So we make our verification message from so I'm sure this won't work, but gonna just try it and see. Cool. So what happens when we run it? Yeah. Did we print it? Something hasn't worked because it hasn't printed anything. Or did I not type it? Oh, do I want to save it? Okay, let's run it again. Okay. To test your theory, please tell me what's the expected output from the function with this input. So it's just got an empty map, so obviously something hasn't worked there. I expected it to error from trying to combine a map with a string, but it's actually just given us like nothing. Okay, we need more information. So our verification looks like that. String cannot be cast to class. Huh? Oh yeah, that was my bad. I'm gonna just pause it for a moment. All right, where was I? Right, so verification, so we've printed nothing. And to map just get, okay, so why is verification nothing? That's, right, so this hasn't worked, right? Well, that explains the problem. So let's print that. Oops. So we've got status, next verification, and output type. So that's just next. Okay, so that will be the problem. Okay. Execution error. Count not supported on this type. Where are we running count? That's weird. Oh, I just typed it wrong. Yeah, we need to update it to next verification everywhere. Right. Okay, so verification. Yeah. Right. So what we need to know is, what does this template actually look like? Because obviously we've got all these special characters. How do you pretty print? content. So instead of prn, if we do print, I think that might format it better. So nil. Really? Nil. Content first. It should be right. Have I just done these the wrong way around? That's why. Well, now it just looks crazy. So what's converted it into that? These are HTML escape. How did HTML escapes get into it? So is Selma, because I think we're using Selma templates, right? So Selma is inserting HTML escapes. Okay. Let's just ask Gemini. It's quicker than reading the documentation. Huh. Can we do this? So if we go to util, Let's see what that does. Okay, that's much nicer. Yeah. But why have we got type? So to test your theory, please tell me what's the expected output from a function with this input. Why would that say type? Type? How odd. It's just because we're using, yeah, that function we wrote isn't suitable, is it? I mean, the function we used, presumably this is adding type, is it? I don't see it. Oh yeah, there. Yeah, it's adding it. Yeah, so what we need is a function that yeah. How did we format it for the original SherlockBench client? What was it? V formatter. Oh yeah, it came from this, did it? But why would it be? This isn't returning a string. This is giving a dict of keys and values. How would that help? Yeah, so what I might have to do is look at the logs of a SherlockBench run. So I can't remember exactly how to do this, but in resources, credentials presumably. So we've got our Postgres, our development database. Password is just password, and database name is SherlockBench client. So that's not helpful. I can never remember when you run psql on the command line. Some of the arguments are supposed to be uppercase, and I can never remember which. And don't you do like W or something to make it prompt for the password? Yeah, so it doesn't like -u, it wants that to be uppercase. No password supplied. Right. So password is just password. Right, okay. No, we want /dt to see our tables. /dt attempts. No, what do we want? We want to see the columns, right? Right, so attempts contains complete log. Select complete log from attempts. Can we do that? Right. But this didn't show us the raw. Yeah, this isn't a log of the raw messages. This is like a higher level log. Okay, so that's no use. I've got a different idea. So what we'll do, so I've got a proxy running here that allows us to record so if we just clear the logs out of the proxy, and then we run a SherlockBench run. So I just want to see a log of the Is this working? Right, so we should be able to see exactly what's being passed through. Otherwise I have to start editing the Python to make it show what's happening, which I'd rather not faff about with that. So just to give us something to look at, I actually underclocked my GPU to save power. By default, it clocks itself up to like 2.9 gigahertz and uses 300 watts, which is the limit. But I found by limiting the clock speed to 2.2 gigahertz, in the test that I did, it reduced my token generation speed by only 12%, and it reduced my power consumption by 40% in that particular test. So yeah, massive reduction in power consumption in exchange for a fairly small reduction in performance. And it should make it more reliable as well. Like, once I start using this client for reinforcement learning, I'll be running it flat out 24/7, so don't want things overheating and burning up. Anyway, so we should have enough logs now, so yeah, hang on, let's cancel this. So I don't know which one it is. To test your theory, right, so we just provide it like that. Okay. Which is quite similar to what we're doing, right? Yeah, I mean, let's split this so we don't have to keep messing about. If we go to run bench, so we almost have it. So we're doing list to map. So how do we do this? So for each key and value, we just want to adjust the value. So we could do that with a map, or do we do it with a for? A for is easier, right? Wait, so that we don't have to run everything, let's just test it in the REPL. So for KV in my map, well, let's start by just doing for requires an even number of forms, right? Yeah, that's it. Right, so how do we merge all our maps together? How do we do that? We've got a list of I can never remember. No. Yeah, I can't remember. Let's just ask. So this is an easy question. We can ask our local model this. I thought there would be a like out of the box function for it, but apparently not. I don't think I ever used the merge function. Huh. Let's look at the docs for merge. Adds a map that consists of the rest of the maps conjoined into the first. Returns a map that can. Yep. Yes, that'll do it. Verification formatted. This probably isn't the most efficient actually, is it? Reduce merge. I'm not sure I agree with Gwen, because why not just do. Can we just get rid of reduce? Huh. Or is it apply? Yeah, if we just do apply merge. I just typed apple. Yeah, I think that's more efficient. Because reduce is going to call merge over and over again with every single one. So yes, many models do have their limitations. That wasn't the best way of doing it. Alright, so verification formatted. Cool. Okay. Oh, we've messed it up again. What happened there? What happened to that code I wrote for, I didn't include it, right? For KV, I should probably almost split this out into a separate function at this point. It's fine. Okay, let's run that. Nice, that's perfect, right? That looks exactly the same as how it looked in our Python. Cool, so we're getting somewhere. So let's commit that to Git, right? Start working on verification. Cool. Cool, yeah. Feel like that's a good place to leave it for the moment.